Hello, this is Joshua for Frost Dragon Designs, and today I'd like to talk to you about my World Builder Game Master Hard Enamel pin. So let's get into the design. This pin is a part of Series 4 of my larger Black Cat RPG collection. In Series 4, the first 12 pins were based on the 12 astrological signs of the Western Zodiac. But just like with the first 3 Black Cat RPG series, this one also includes a Game Master. Or some people say Dungeon Master, some people say Storyteller. It depends on what system you're using and that sort of thing. This is the person who runs the role-playing game for the rest of the group. And I hope that they have fun as well, and I hope that the players respect the time that goes into those games. And I think that the players do respect the time and effort that goes in to being a game master, because for all 4 series of Black Cat RPG pins, the Game Master has been one of the top 3 designs that people purchase. Now, in Series 1, I had a Boy Kitty Game Master, and he had a book that I like to think of it that was a rule book, and he had a green flaming D20. For Series 2, we switched to a female Game Master, and she has a bunch of sheets of paper moving around her kind of like a spell, and that was supposed to represent character sheets. Series 3, we were back to a male Game Master, and he's got a laptop kind of representing the online play that so many people have had to shift to since COVID-19, and many people chose to stick with even after. But when I started thinking about Series 4, I was thinking, what other aspect of being a game master am I interested in representing in this pin design? And after a lot of consideration, the concept of world building just seemed like such a good idea to represent in this pin. It's more for the people who do homebrew than the people who run pre-written campaigns. But even if you're running a pre-written campaign, I feel like there's still a lot of world building that has to happen. Players will ask the strangest questions that the writers of those pre-written campaigns could never have anticipated. So even those who use those have to do a fair amount of world building, they have to do a fair amount of improv, and they are really bringing life to the world that the players inhabit. And so I thought it would be interesting to have this particular game master kind of like floating out in space, like a spectral entity floating out in front of a planet, and I wanted them in one hand to be holding the sun and the other hand to be holding the moon, and I thought that would kind of just represent how like the sun does not rise and set in that world without the game master causing it. I also needed to make sure that the D20 was represented in this design like it was in the first 3 game master designs, and I just kind of thought, you know what, why don't we just make everything that's supposed to be a sphere, let's make it all a D20. The sun's a D20, the moon's a D20, the planet itself is a great big D20. And something else that I kind of like about it, the Game Master character is holding the sun and the moon, and the sun's not that much bigger if she's holding it. But if you think about it, a sun would be much, much bigger and further away. So how is it that she's holding it? And I think that, for me, kind of represents the illusion that Game Masters give of the depth and breadth of the worlds. Like, they may not know the information until you ask for it. And I just think that it's neat that it can look like it's planned. It can look like a really far-reaching vision when it's just something that they just pulled out of their pocket and they're just holding it up real close and it makes it look big to you. And as some more symbolism in this one, I have the Game Master wearing white, showing that they are, they're a good guy, they're altruistic. And on the inside of the cloak, it's black with stars. It's space. It looks like space. And I wanted that to kind of represent again, that illusion. Like, it looks to the players like it's this big, expansive world, but it's just the inside of their cloak. It's not a big, expansive universe. It's just this one little thing that you happen to be able to see right now. So I kind of tried to pack a lot of like symbolism like that and, representation of what the role of a game master can really be into this pin design. The other fun thing that I did with this one, just like I did with the other 3 Game Masters, is instead of them being in like a full costume, like the barbarian, it looks like a barbarian, and a wizard looks like a wizard. Instead of them being fully immersed in the fantasy, because they're the Game Master, I wanted to represent that duality of having to be both immersed in the game, but also thinking about it in kind of a meta sense. Like they're still themselves in real life. They're not playing a role per se. And so the way that I handled that is all the Game Masters have a hooded cloak, but other than the hooded cloak, they're wearing, everyday clothes. They're wearing jeans, they're wearing hoodies, they're wearing t-shirts. This one in particular is wearing a white hoodie and a pair of jeans. And I think it's fun because, like, at first glance, you're like, oh, okay, it's this hooded, cloaked character. And then you look at it a little longer and you're like, who's wearing a hoodie with a pocket front, and they're wearing, it looks like blue jeans, I mean, like, I wanted to really represent in all of the Game Master pins that kind of duality of being both in the game and out of the game at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed watching me design this pin. If you're a Game Master, I hope you like this pin. I hope you feel like it represents the role well. If you enjoyed this, please go ahead, like and subscribe. I release a new video every week for a new pin that I've designed, and I would love to see you back for the next one. Thank you so much for your time, and you have a great rest of your day.